The regular meeting of the Wayne Westland Community School Board of Education is now brought to order on Monday, January 23rd at 7 o'clock p.m. On behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to welcome everyone. Your attendance this evening reflects an interest in local education and is greatly appreciated. At this time, I would like to call two students from Hoover Elementary School up to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Would Faith and Jaden Gofton please come forward? Everyone, please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jaden and Faith, if you will stand there, please, side by side.
Quitting already? Oh, I know what you're doing.
We're going to read your biographies now. First of all, my name is Faith Gofton, and I am in the 3rd grade at Hoover Elementary School. I am 8 years old. I will soon be 9 because my birthday is February 19th. I am a Brownie in Girl Scouts, and I love fashion, which we see. My favorite class is art, and I love doing all kinds of craft projects. Very good. My name is Jaden Gofton, and I am in the 1st grade at Hoover Elementary School. I'm 6 years old. My birthday is February 23rd, so I will soon be 7. I love playing with my toy cars and Transformers. I also enjoy learning about soldiers. Mr. Bessick is our principal and is my best buddy.
If you turn around, Mrs. Medell has something for you down on the floor.
I'm right behind you. Sorry. I would like to thank you on behalf of my fellow board trustees, the administration, of course me. I would like to thank you for sharing your skills and your techniques in doing our flag ceremony tonight. And for each of you, we have something very special, and it's suitable for framing or for somebody's memory book that mom's keeping for you. So Jaden, this is your certificate for doing the flag ceremony at today's Board of Education meeting for the Wayne Westland Community School District. Thank you. And Faith, thank you so much for coming and participating today. How long have you been in Girl Scouts now?
For about 3 months.
3 months? I'm finishing my 60th year in Girl Scouting. So it's good to see that we've got fresh green blood coming our way. So stay in the program. It's really worth it, especially if nothing else. You get a lot of mosquito bites to scratch. So for you, we also have a certificate suitable for framing or a memory book. So I want to thank you for coming today. And before you leave, I want you to turn around here, and I want you to share with everybody, did you bring somebody special with you tonight?
Yes, we brought our family, our mom and dad, Johnny Hanson and Lindsay Goff.
Very good. Could you wave mom and dad and everybody else? There's also somebody special, your best buddy. You brought him too, didn't you? And that is?
Mr. Basic.
Now, Mrs. Johnson is going to take your picture with your certificate right in front of you, and I think we end up putting them on the website, don't we? We do. Absolutely. So thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just so the parents know, anytime throughout the day if you feel the need to leave, it won't hurt our feelings if you do. We know that the kids have homework and things like that. And this is our first meeting back from the new year. And so this is definitely gonna be a business meeting today. We have a lot of ground to cover. So, like I said, at any time, you're more than welcome to stay, but if you feel the need that you have to, you're more than welcome to leave as well. So with that being said, we're gonna move on to item number 209.17, roll call. Dr. Weaver?
Mr. Cox,
Present.
Mrs. Madell,
I'm sorry, President.
Mr. Buckaloo,
Here.
Mrs. Hines, Mrs. Madison.
Present.
I'm present, Madam President.
Present. Let the record reflect that everyone is in attendance today. Item number 210.17, swearing in of the new board members. Dr. Hamala?
Yes, we actually are going to have that led by your work as president.
Okay.
And if we would have David move, are we going to have you move to the floor? Mm-hmm. Okay, move to the floor if you would.
So
Oh,
we'll
I'm
do it one
sorry,
at a
it's
time.
not you. They've invited guests.
Yeah, they have
I'm
invited
sorry,
guests.
they've invited guests.
So we'll do one at a
we'll
time.
do David first, and if you would come down to the floor, and we would invite with you Maritza, your wife, and I believe Diane Fritz. And they have their script for the swearing in, and they will go ahead and lead that.
Just got it.
Yes, you did.
I raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, David Cox,
I, David Cox,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
perform the duties of
perform the duties of
member of the Board of Education
member of the Board of Education
of the Wayne Westland Community School District,
of the Wayne Westland Community School District,
Westland, Michigan,
Westland, Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
And Jenny, did you get your picture? Okay.
Welcome to the board, Mr.
thank
Cox.
Thank you.
And we will have Tom Buckaloo as well, and I believe his wife Claudia is going to read his swearing in.
I'm ready.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Member of the Board of Education
of the office of Member of the Board of Education
of Wayne Westland Community Schools,
of
Westland,
Wayne, of Wayne Westland Community Schools, Westland, Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Welcome back, Mr. Buckaloo. I'll give you a chance to get seated. Okay. Moving on to item number 211.17, election of officers, and so what we'll do is we'll open the floor for nominations for president.
I nominate Brad Weaver for president.
Any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Shauna Walker for president.
Any other nominations? Okay. So what we'll do is in the order of how the names were given, we'll call for a roll call vote. Dr. Weaver so we're voting on Dr. Weaver for president for the Board of Education, and we're doing a roll call vote.
Mrs. Madison,
No.
Mrs. Madell,
No.
Mr. Cox,
No.
Mr. Buckaloo,
No.
Mrs. Hines.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
No. Okay, So we'll do a roll call vote for myself, Ms. Walker as president, Dr. Weaver,
Mrs. Madison,
Yes.
Mrs. Madell,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley.
Yes.
I vote yes, Mrs. Hines.
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
yes. Okay, now we're moving on to the office of, oh, I'm sorry, do we need to, that's it, we don't need it, okay. Moving on to the office of vice president, can I have a nominations, please?
I'd like to nominate Carol Medell.
Thank you. Any other nominations?
I nominate Dr. Weaver.
Any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, at this time, we'll take a roll call vote. Dr. Weaver, for, these is for vice president for, Mrs. Madell.
Mrs. Hines,
Yes.
Mrs. Madison,
Yes.
Mrs. Madell,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley.
Yes.
I vote yes, Mrs. Walker.
Yes. So, Dr. Weaver, do you want us to go on with the next vote, or will we just go on to the next?
Well, I think we're kind of spoiled for choice.
Okay, just want to make sure. So moving on to nominations for secretary.
I'd like to nominate Melindy Hines.
Any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, I would, we can do a roll call vote, but I'm sure we know who is gonna be secretary. So roll call vote, please.
I vote yes, Mrs. Hines,
Yes.
Mrs. Madison,
Yes.
Mrs. Madell,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker.
Yes. Okay, moving on, nominations for treasurer.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Buckley.
Any of, okay,
Nominate, David Cox.
any other nominations? Okay, we'll start with Mr. Buckaloo for treasurer. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
Mrs. Hines,
Yes.
Mrs. Madison,
Yes.
Mrs. Madell.
Yes.
My vote is no, Mrs. Walker.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Cox, it's your pleasure, if you want us to go ahead with the roll call vote for your nomination, or are
Yes.
you good with it? Go ahead, okay.
Oh,
Roll
for
call.
my, no, you received the number of votes?
Yeah.
I think we're done.
Okay, all right. So at this time, you have your new officers. I want to say congratulations to everyone. I know that we'll all do a good job and we'll work well together. So what we're gonna do at this time is we all have to change seats, so we're gonna take a little 5-minute break. We'll come back it's 15 after, we'll come back at 20 after, once we get reorganized, okay? All right. Well, I guess I can sit here, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna,
Just you and I.
I think it's you and I. Let's see what they do.
This was my first seat. Do you mind?
everyone's settled and ready to go, we'll go ahead and resume our meeting. So I'm going to call the meeting back to order at 7:17. Moving on to item number 212.17, recognition and presentations. Dr. Hamala?
Yes, thank you, President Walker. I'd like to take a few minutes to recognize our Board of Education. January is Board Recognition Month, and I would like to thank all of our board trustees for their hard work and dedication to Wayne Westland Community Schools. In your board agenda is a resolution from the Wayne RISA that also thanks you for your service to our district and education more generally. It's important to note that boards of education are an important part of our freedom to govern locally, well, at least to some extent these days. The community votes in those who serve us, and those in service dedicate their time and their efforts toward making sure our school district is the best it can be for all of its students. I have had the honor and privilege to work for this Board of Education for the last 3 years. I've grown to know and appreciate your individual and your collective values and efforts toward ensuring that our students grow and learn to high levels every day. You take time out of your lives for these meetings and many other meetings and events that define the work of a school board and our school district. On top of your work for the district, you demonstrate care and respect for all of us as people. You care about our lives and our families, and you take time to get to know us and share in both our sorrows and our celebrations. As a board, I'd like to thank you for your collective work and service. As individual trustees, I'd like to welcome Trustee Cox to the Board of Education. And I'd like to share my thanks with all of you. You have a certificate at your place and a thank you card as well, so thank you for your service. I'd like specifically to thank and recognize Shauna Walker for her service and support as past president and now president yet again. I appreciate that. You always take time out to make sure that what we need to do is clear and understood by everybody. I appreciate you for all of that work. We also, in your envelope, Shauna, have a dinner night out at Cafe Marquette on us, if you will. So a token of our appreciation. Certainly, you are well deserving, and we appreciate that. And on top of that, I'd like to ask Mr. Bessick and our students at Hoover Elementary School to go to the microphone in the back, I believe, or are they coming up front? Oh, right up here in front. And they're going to share a little recognition of our board as well. So thank you, students and families, for coming to recognize our Board of Education.
Thank you, Dr. Harmon. This evening, we have the privilege of speaking for all students in Wayne Westland Schools, and I think I can speak for the staff as well. We have a short presentation and a treat for you as well. So this evening I have with me Perry and Lillian Maiden, Joy Dene, Sophia Saifullah, and Miley Preby, who have just a short thing for you.
We appreciate our school board and the leadership you showed. You helped to make Wayne Westland Schools a place where we can grow.
We appreciate the hours you give up every year in school and or meetings in places both far or near.
We appreciate the way you listen when our parents have a need. You are always there to hear them, responding with great speed.
So to honor each board member and appreciation for doing your part, there's no better way to show our thanks than a bag of chocolate hearts.
And Dr. Harmon, we did not forget you in this too. We have a bag for you because we don't want all your friends to have chocolate except for the
Well, you guys are way too kind, so thank you very much.
Can you turn around this way so we can see your faces? Thank you. We really appreciate that. Oh my God, every year you guys make us cry when you do that, but it's so well worth it. Thank you for coming out.
All right. Yeah. I don't think this goes with my diet. Go ahead and direct them in place.
hands off my chocolate. Great, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, students and parents, and I know now you may want to choose that opportunity to go ahead and go home as we move on to other things.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you. And while they're transitioning, we have another presentation for the board as well. Our Assistant Superintendent John Albrecht is going to kick us off for the next presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Harmon. Actually, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Charles Hallman, our Senior Executive Director of Special Education.
Talk about your tough acts to follow. Good evening, Madam President and members of the school board. I'm here today to report to you the state of Michigan's continuous improvement monitoring system cross-indicator analysis. The continuous improvement monitoring system, or more commonly referred to as SIMS, is used to ensure that all school districts comply with the Michigan administrative rules for special education. The cross-indicator analysis that I'll be reporting on today is from April 2016. To bring closure to this finding, the last requirement is to report our data and corrective action plan to the members of the school board. The finding I am speaking today specifically talks about the timely completion of students' individualized education plans. The state's analysis of our data indicated that we had several students' plans that were not done in a timely manner. The goal set by the state for districts is 100% compliance of the plans completed on a yearly basis. When the special education department investigated the finding, we concluded that the problem was the meeting at which the plan is developed had to be rescheduled in each of the students' cases. Examples of the need to reschedule were illnesses, snow days, and parent requests. The rescheduling of these meetings resulted in the plans being completed after the due date. The special education department has implemented a plan with staff that includes a revision in the timelines to help ensure that all student plans are completed in a timely fashion with time built in to allow for rescheduling. Thank you for allowing me a few moments to inform you on this matter.
Thank you. There's no questions or anything. Moving on to item number 213.17, citizen comments and agenda items. Ms. Hines, do you have anyone? Or? No. Do we have anyone that wants to speak on agenda items only? Nope. Okay. Seeing none. Moving on to item number 214.17, the consent agenda. At this time, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Mrs. Hines, or no. Moved by Mrs. Madison, supported by Mr. Cox. Let me get it together. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Nadell?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Buckland?
Yes.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Ms. Hines, yes. Ms. Madison?
After bringing myself up to speed, yes.
And Ms. Walker?
Yes. The record reflects 7-0. Motion passes. At this time, we'll move on to item number 215.17, review and approval of human resource items. Mrs. Bowe?
Thank you, Madam President. Tonight, I have the pleasure of recommending for your approval the placement of Ms. Rhonda Lyons as the Director of Transportation. Rhonda is a MSBO Certified Director of Transportation and brings with her to this position a wealth of experience in the transportation realm. Rhonda has served as a Director of Transportation for the Huron School District and as an Assistant Supervisor and then Supervisor of the Transportation Department in the Van Buren Public Schools. Rhonda has been most recently employed by Wayne Risa, and she's been working as a consultant providing transportation support to county districts. In fact, it was in this capacity that Rhonda truly went above and beyond in her support of the Wayne Westland District this fall when we had a number of transportation issues.
Thank you. At this time, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Madison.
Second.
Supported by Mrs. Madell. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Buckman?
Yes.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Ms. Hines, yes? Ms. Madison? Absolutely yes. Ms. Madell?
Yes.
And Ms. Walker?
Yes, let the record reflect 7-0. Congratulations, Ms. Lyons. Would you like to come to the mic and say a few things? It's up to you.
Good evening, members of the board. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to serving the Wayne Westland Community Schools, students, the parents, the staff members, and the community at large, and I'm very excited about having this position, and just thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome to Wayne Westland. At this time, we'll move on to item number 216.17, review and approval business and service and finance items. Mr. Larson Scheidler. Were you going somewhere?
Yeah, actually I was. Didn't know I was up so soon. Sorry. Thank you, Madam President. We sent out a memo before, I believe, Christmas. We sent out the packet. I'm not going to go through the packet or the memo. You have that information. I just have a summary of the budget amendment, and up on the overheads, we have it for the audience. Just an introduction to this. I'm just going to provide an overview of the January budget amendment. If you'd like more detail or you have any questions, please ask. And you can do it as I'm going through, as normal, or you can wait till the end, whichever is your pleasure. A budget is based on the information that we have at that point in time. And when we set the budget, we prepare the budget in May. It goes to the Finance Committee, and then it goes to the board in June. So that budget was over 7 months old at this point in time. Staffing at that time is in flux. We don't know what the retirements are. We don't know people shifting. We don't know what people replacing those people will come in at salaries, what their benefits will be. So as new staff are hired and current staffing situations change, we get more information. And then so as of December, we take that information and we recalculate and we give you a new budget based on staffing at that point in time. As the year progresses, the budget is adjusted to reflect new information. We want to communicate this information, let staff and public know the status of the district's financial position. And you have an overview of the revenues. What this does is it compares the revenue estimate at the beginning of the year. The first column there, original budget at June 2016 was approved at $103,006,105. Since that time, with the information that we have, the enhancement millage being a large piece of that, we're amending the revenues to $109,425,103, which is a positive variance of $6,418,998. So, as I stated, this is almost a $6.4 million increase. The major, the major items that created this increase, $4.4 million for the enhancement millage. That's $385 per pupil. We At the beginning of the year, we projected a 300 student FTE loss. Actually, it came in at 253, which is a positive variance of 47 students. So that's an increase of $353,000 based on state funding. The intermediate school district, Wayne Risa, Act 18 increases of $1.6 million. Now, $800,000 of this will go for salaries for follow that child's staffing, so that's sort of an in and out. We have an increase in the indirect cost rate. Indirect cost rate is the rate that we can charge grants for overhead of the district. That went from 12% to 14.21%, and we are projecting the Act 18 balanced distribution similar to 2016, which is about $700,000. The other increases are career tech increases, $150,000 for equipment that we found out, I think that was around Christmas time. That was just recent. And then at the beginning of the year, we had a $130,000 increase for student. And on to the expenditures. Again, this is just a summary. At the beginning of the year, we projected 102, 282, 629 in the original budget. We're requesting amendment to 103, 733, 625. This is a variance of $1,450,996. Yeah, as a service industry, education expenses are 80 to 90%, salaries, benefits, and retirement. Our staffing costs represent 87% of our total budgeted expenditures. With staffing mostly complete and insurance selections based on open enrollment determined for staff, again, we recalculate staffing costs for the budget amendment. And just going over some of the details of the increases, 1.45 million. It's a lot of this is in equipment. $421,000 is for bus purchases. Those are purchases that we were previously leasing. We requested the board approve purchase of these buses, which you did at, I believe, your November meeting. This funding is coming from the enhancement millage. Again, the $150,000 career tech equipment, this is going to be an in and out. Although it increases revenues, it also increases expenditures. Other areas, net salary adjustments based on staffing as of December 1st, $385,000, benefits and retirement, $75,000, purchase services, $258,000, and utilities for water and sewer, $89,000. A point that I would like to mention, that the budget amendment is based on current staffing and negotiated agreements. Any changes in the future would have to be estimated and the budget amended for the new information at that time. Onto the fund balance. This is just putting everything together. You can see the revenues, expenditures, as I mentioned at the beginning of the year, we were expecting revenues over expenditures of $723,476. So we would have had a surplus without any of the changes. But I'm happy to report that we're looking at a revenues over expenditures of almost $5.7 million. So the variance will, positive variance. And the last slide that I have is just the recent history of the fund balance and the projected fund balance for at the end of 2016-17. The line that you see going across is our 5% fund balance amount, and that is the board recommended between 5 and 10%. So this would be the minimum, and also this amount, the 5%, gets us off the state's fiscal watch list, which if we end this year at the $11 million, That would be our second year over 5%. You can see 5% for the past year and 5% for the coming year. So that is very good news.
Thank you. At this time, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Madison,
Second.
supported by Mrs. Madell. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Madell?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo?
Yes.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Ms. Hines, yes. Ms. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes. Let the record reflect 7-0, motion passed. Item B, please.
Okay, thank you again, Madam President. This is what we have been doing as we finalize construction projects. We bring the closing information to the board to review. The first one that we have are the summer 2016 projects that included transportation facility, tank removal, and also the Graham Elementary School cooling tower replacement. The transportation tanks, one of the factors of doing this is that you have to purchase underground storage tank insurance. And we were having a difficult time finding it because our tanks were, I think it was about 20 years since we had serviced them and relined them. So it was getting to the point that we couldn't purchase insurance. So it was a necessity to replace them. We put them above ground so we won't have to purchase that underground insurance and have the leakage and worry about that seepage. This was over budget by $49,000, and that was due to contaminated soil and environmental consultant that we had to hire. The Graham cooling tower replacement was on budget, actually positive variance of $409. What I would mention, both these projects did not have a construction manager. We used the architect. The architect oversaw the projects. The next project that we had is from the 14-15 school year. This is the demolition of our vacant buildings and the Blanchette Middle School, which we received from dissolution of Inkster. This was Wayne Risa bid out the Inkster properties for demolition. So what we did is we requested to go on the RFP to get basically a discount. So we added our buildings, Kettering, Lincoln, Madison, and Vandenberg to that. Our cost came out of our sinking fund, and that was budgeted at $887,606.20. We had a positive variance of $58,827, and then the demolition of Blanchette Middle School was budgeted at $414,607.60, and it came in at $399,485.02. Positive variance of $15,122.58, and that was reimbursed by the state of Michigan for demolition. And the RFP, Barton Mallow oversaw the demolition. That was all through Wayne Risa.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, moving on to item C.
This is, sorry.
It's the designation of the financial auditors.
Yes, I'd like to recommend having Plant Moran as our financial auditors. Plant Moran assists us throughout the year. They're not only one time a year doing the audit. We ask them information. Good client auditor relationship is talking throughout the year, which we do. We ask them for accounting information, how to record special transactions, so it makes the audit go much better when they come in. I believe they're a very good audit firm.
Okay, at this time, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Madison, supported by Mr. Cox. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Madison?
Yes. Ms. Medill?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo?
Yes.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Ms. Hines, yes. Ms. Walker?
Yes. Let the record reflect 7-0, motion carries. Moving on to item number 217.17. At this time is when we'll make the representative designations. The first one will be WCASPA, the Wayne County Association of School Boards. I sit on the executive board, but we still need someone who represents, and I believe that Carol has always done it in the past.
But if anybody else would like that, I'd be glad to share the wealth.
And basically, what you do is go to the Wayne Risa meetings and is everyone happy with Mrs. Medill staying that? Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess you get to keep the job. And now we need the 2017 MASB representative for the Michigan Association of School Board.
And I'd like to do that.
So anyone else or have a concern? Okay, Ms. Hines, you have it. So, just so we know, so the record reflects, for the WCASPA representative, we have Mrs. Medill, and for the MASB representative, we have Ms. Hines. Moving on to item number 218.17, designation of newspapers. Dr. Hamala?
Yes, this is our annual conversation about designating the newspapers in which we keep a positive and ongoing relationship. Last year, I think you'll remember, we added the Telegram newspaper, and we've kept that in there, so it's the same slate of newspapers. Many of them, as you are well aware, are shifting to mostly digital reporting and online reporting, but we still continue to keep conversation with all of them as needed. So.
At this time, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Madison. Second. Supported by Mrs. Medill. Roll call, or any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Hines, yes. Ms. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Medill?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo?
Yes.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
And Ms. Walker?
Yes. Let the record reflect 7-0, motion carries. Moving on to item number 219.17, review and approval of legal firm representation. Dr. Hamala?
Yes, thank you. The memo in your packet on pages 25 and 26 provides the specific details for this recommendation. As you requested of us in 2015, we investigate the pricing prior to bringing the memo forward to you, and we do ongoing monitoring of the invoices from our firms. The increases for this year for Clark Hill range between $15 and $35 per hour. There's no change in the service fees for Lusk Albertson. Troon Law has an increase of about $5 per hour and an increase of $150 in their one-time retainer fee, which is annual. No changes for Kelly Cawthorn, and Miller Canfield is a new firm for us. Some of the lawyers have changed firms, and the ones we've been using have shifted to Miller Canfield. So that's the recommended slate we have for the board for the coming year.
Thank you. At this time, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Madison,
Second.
supported by Mrs. Medill. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Ms. Hines, yes. Ms. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Medill?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo?
Yes.
And Ms. Walker?
Yes, let the record reflect 7-0, motion carries. Moving on to item number 220.17, Head Start Monthly Report. Mrs. Medill.
As required by federal law, all of the board trustees received a copy of the monthly report for November and December in your board packet on January 18th. And to let everybody know, they are fully enrolled right now, which is a good thing, because sometimes we lose students after the holiday break. We also have our Walker Winter classroom open. They've just gone through licensing procedures, and that's good for 2 years for our programs. So moving right along, we had a presentation on curriculum at the last meeting and assessment, where they've been working with the kids on assessing their motor skills and some of their academic skills also. So they're all excited over there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Madell. Moving on to item number 221.17, Board of Education Committee Reports. Tonight, we have two, so the first one we'll do is the Finance Committee. Mr. Buckaloo.
Yes, thank you. Agenda item 221.17A, Finance Committee Report. This is a summary of the Finance Committee meeting held on Thursday, December 22nd, 2016. The following people attended the meeting: Trav Griffin, Tom Buckaloo, Fred Weaver, David Kalmeyer, John Albrick, Michelle Harmala, and Mr. Jim Larson-Scheidler. The committee discussed the 2016-17 January budget amendment and the changes to the original 2016 budget, 16-17 budget adopted by the board at its June 27th, 2016 meeting, and the effect on the general fund balance. Deputy Superintendent Jim Larson-Scheidler presented that amendment to us earlier this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Buckaloo.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll do the Policy and Procedure and Planning Committee, and I'm not sure who's, okay. Thank you, Ms. Hines.
Agenda item 221.17B, Policy, Procedures, and Planning Committee. This is a summary of the Policy Committee's meeting held on January 10th, 2017. Those included Dr. Michelle A. Hamler, Superintendent, Melanie Hines, Trustee, and Carol Madell, Trustee. Sally Madison, Trustee, was unable to attend the meeting. The meeting started at 6:07 p.m. The committee reviewed feedback from trustees related to the draft of the board operating procedure. After review and consideration and feedback of the policy committee recommends approval of the board operating procedures with the following revisions. Section 2.0, insert the word with in the sentence with respect to communications. Board trustees are expected to conduct themselves in accordance with the expectations outlined in board policy, both in content and tenure and their communication. See page 38 of this agenda. Section 3.1B.5, add the phrase, and participate in training as required by law to existing sentence. See page 44 of this agenda. Section 3.2B, maintain the current process for annual election of officers, as direct support of the current process was expressed and no direct support for the new option was provided by any trustee. Superintendent Harmon provided an update on the administration's process for updating and aligning all administrative procedures with the newly adopted policy. Administration has reviewed and is satisfied with the procedures provided by Lux Advocates. They will contract the work with them for this service and to customize procedures as necessary. This service fee includes a one-time development fee of $10,000 and an annual update fee of $2,500. Procedures will be shared with the board upon the meeting adjourned at approximately 6:45 p.m. We need a motion at this time to adopt the operating board procedures with the noted revisions, if that is the pleasure of the board.
So moved.
Okay, hold on. Thank you, Ms. Hines. So at this time, I'll take a motion to accept the recommendations of the policy committee to adopt the BOP with the noted changes. So, Mr. Cox, and I need a support? Support by Mrs. Madell. Any discussion? I just want to say thank you, and you guys did a really good job. And just on a side note, you know, by me sitting on the executive board with COSPA, I talked to a lot of other boards in Wayne County, and a few of them have pulled our BOP off because they don't have them, so they pulled ours off of the website so that they can start mapping theirs from ours because they feel that we have such a good one. So congratulations, guys. You did a really good job. And at this time, I'll take a roll call vote.
Mr. Buckaloo?
Yes.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Ms. Hines, yes. Ms. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Madell?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Walker?
Yes. Let the record reflect 7-0, motion carries. Item number 222.17, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Hamala?
Yes, thank you again, and Happy New Year to everyone. We are at our first meeting back in January. Congratulations to all of our trustees on your new roles on the board. 2016 ended with some changes in legislation from the state that will have an effect on our school district. Specifically, the energy choice legislation was passed. It continues to allow our choice option, at least for the time being. Things could change a few years out, but for now, we're pleased to be able to continue to save approximately $400,000 per year on our electric utilities by being a part of the Energy Consortium Cooperative. The zero tolerance bills, discipline bills were changed, and the new legislation allows for more individualized determinations for suspension and expulsion. The bill does not change the weapons-free school zone components, and we're currently examining those pieces of legislation to see how those revisions may affect our current practices. A new requirement has been added to the curriculum for students in grades 7 through 12. Students must be taught CPR and how to use AEDs, which are automatic defibrillators, at some point within their secondary career, so we'll be looking at where that fits in the curriculum starting next year. And additionally, students must receive a combined 6 hours of instruction between grades 8 through 12 on the topics of genocide, including the Holocaust and the Armenian genocide, and we actually currently meet this requirement, so that won't be an ad for us. The Michigan Department of Education scorecards have been released, and we are pleased with the continued growth and progress of our school district. We will, however, continue to work to ensure our students grow and learn and become proficient in all of the various content areas. We want to ensure that every one of our students has a solid academic foundation. We're celebrating the success of our school improvement efforts with the release of Adams Upper Elementary, Marshall Upper Elementary, Elliott Elementary, and Taft Galloway Elementary School from the Michigan Department of Education Focus School lists. We are also celebrating the release of Schweitzer Elementary from the State Reform Office Priority School list. And I want to thank all of our staff for their hard work and dedication and truly their relentless focus on quality instruction for all of our students. So thank you, and that concludes my report for tonight.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 223.17, citizen comments. Anyone?
I believe we have a comment tonight.
Can you please state your name?
TC Sample. To the board, it comes to my attention that my alma mater, John Glenn High School, has made a change in the way they handle graduation. I'm told that all students graduating, starting at the class of 2017, will all wear blue robes and they will sit in alphabetical order. I've also been told that the administration at John Glenn High School rationalized this by stating it was tradition back in the 1970s for everyone to wear the same color. I was also told that while this was announced publicly, there was a hidden reason for the administration rationalizing this decision. Now, while I won't disclose that reasoning, I urge the board of the city of the Wayne Westland Community School District to reconsider. Over there in the corner is my sister. She's been going to our schools since preschool. She's been on the honor roll. She takes AP classes. She's the best cheerleader at John Glenn. Does it both in football and in a competitive sport. And she's finishing her time at John Glenn as a strong track and field competitor. There are many other students displeased with this decision, and I urge the board to ask the students plainly what their real opinion is on the matter, and to do this with honest effort, taking into consideration their interests as I would expect the board to do. My personal interest in this matter, this is my alma mater. I don't believe that students such as my sister and other related students who've worked through the entire public education system should sit in alphabetical order and not give their due recognition during their own time during graduation. I also believe that women should continue wearing the different colors that they've done thus far for more than one reason. One, because they've already purchased their white robes. A lot of them have, my sister included, and because they want that distinction. I leave this podium this evening with 3 questions to the board. One, what is the true motive of this change at John Glenn High School? Is it really for what they said publicly, or is it for some other reason? Number 2, what recognition at graduation will the students receive if they deserve it? And 3, if this is unchanged, who will compensate the young women who have already spent money on the white robes? I use this last 20 seconds to say hello, Trustee Buckaloo. You were my 10th grade history teacher, and it's good to see you. And Vice President, it's always a pleasure to see you too.
Good to see you.
God bless
TC.
everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Sample. Do we have anyone else? Okay. Moving on to item number 224.17, review and recommendations, Board of Education. So, Dr. Weaver.
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Madison.
I don't have anything other than I'd like to know if we could be a little non-traditional, and do we have an update on what is going on that information regarding the robes?
Yeah, and I think Mr. Albrecht could share some, but what I think people are confusing, I'll add this piece. People are thinking that the students who have honor points in alphabetical, grade point honors like summa cum laude, et cetera, they will still all be honored in the traditional way we have always done with their cords, sitting up in front before the alpha order. They'll sit in alpha order, but all of those high GPA students will sit toward the front in alpha order, which they always have. We just had the separation of some on the right, some on the left, boys and girls separated, so they'll be commingled. But all the honors will still be there. Honestly, I will have to check into the white robe purchases happening already. That's a new piece of information to me, but Mr. Albrecht got the information. We'll follow up.
So has there been a change in the?
I believe so, but this is new information that we heard tonight, so I think we have to check into it again, because now we've got another piece of information that was not shared previous to that. We did previously have information from John Glenn that there was some miscommunication, and that was shared as well.
Okay, I just hope that we can get some follow-up to this and get this resolved pretty expediently. I know one of the concerns I have is if there is a color change or not, and also trying to keep a little bit of uniform between the 2 different high schools and making sure that we're balancing that out between the schools and keeping things as equitable as possible.
Thank you. Mr. Buckaloo.
We're talking about the total thing or this issue?
No, it's your turn. It's your turn.
Oh,
So
it's
you can
my
say
turn
whatever
now.
you want to.
Well, we'll start by, 2 issues came up. Did a very nice job of presenting yourself. And 2 issues. What about students who now have begun to purchase the blue uniform?
Well, that's the piece we have to find out, because it was
Okay.
our understanding there was no cross-communication on that, but I'm hearing tonight there was, so
And-
we'll really have to dig into that.
And am I correct in understanding that we will not try to put male on one side and female on the other, but that they will intermingle?
That's the intention, and part of that is because our sides are starting to get very lopsided. We have a very short row on one side and a much longer row on the other, so arranging them so that we have a little more uniformity in moving in and moving out was the intention there. But we'll have to check into the other pieces, because I really don't, this is the first I'm hearing about purchasing them now versus having already moved in that direction. So we will have to follow up, and Mr. Albrecht will do that.
Okay, I do have a couple of other things. I'd like to thank Faith and Jaden for getting us off to a good start tonight, and also for Principal Bessick for bringing them and making the presentation to us. I thought that was extremely nice. I'd like to congratulate Ms. Lyons. I think I can say for the entire board that we all wish her the best in her new job, and I have a feeling it's not the easiest job in the world to get done. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Cox. Mr. Cox isn't new to our board. You may not know this, but he is returning to the board, and in fact, in the past has been a president of this board. So we will certainly benefit from his past experiences. So welcome to you, sir. Recently, the rules regulating the sinking fund, monies and how they can be spent, were changed to allow us to use those monies for the first time for things like security and technology. And that certainly was a blessing. But I've seen that recently our state representative, Mr. Kosalski, has introduced legislation that might expand sinking fund uses even further, that he might, if his bill is successful, will be able to use those funds for the purchase of transportation, buses, if you will, and that would truly be a blessing to this school district. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope that that piece of legislation finds some friendly support in Lansing. I want to thank Mr. Larson Scheidler and your entire team for the budget revision, the favorable budget revision. I see still your chart is up there, and I'm tracing back my own participation on this board, and for the first time since I sat down here, we're back to that very positive fund equity. That's a real good thing. Those years that I've sat here, we've seen it decline dramatically, far below what is safe. I think we got to a point somewhere in the middle there where we had about 20 minutes worth of fund equity. That might be an exaggeration. The reason that we're doing so well is because we've watched our pennies along the way. But it's also largely due to the fact that the county has seen fit to vote the enhancement millage. What is it, nearly 4.5 million, 4.4 million, am I correct? Which makes a serious contribution to our funding. And to those people in the county who voted for that millage, who showed faith in county education to go ahead and do that, I say thank you very much. And also, I want them to know that this school board and this administration, I'm sure, are going to do everything that they can to be good stewards of that funding and to use it in the best possible way. And with that, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Buckaloo. Mr. Cox?
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Mr. Buckaloo, for your kind words, and congratulations to you on your new role, and my fellow board members, congratulations on your officer status and your new roles. I'm very grateful to be here once again. People ask me when during the campaign, where have you been? Well, actually, I had the honor of working with the company that served United States veterans and active duty military, and that job took me out of the state for about 8 years, and that's where I was, for everyone who was wondering. I'm so happy to be back and to play this role in my community. Thank you to my wife, Maritza, and my dear friend, retired city clerk Diane Fritz, and my dear friend, member of the board of the Wayne County Community College District, Sharon Scott, for being here. Also daughters Catherine and Zainab. Thank you very much. And to the people of Wayne County that supported this enhancement millage, I'd like to echo what Mr. Buckaloo said. We certainly will be responsible stewards of it and very appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. Ms. Hines?
I'd like to say welcome back. This is going to be an awesome year, 2017. I see fabulous things happen. I'd like to also thank Mr. Schreider for your excellent job with the finances. I also like to thank the teachers and administration for the sacrifices to help us get this far. I really appreciate it. Oh yes, and Mr.
You started about the custodial staff also.
Oh, custodial staff also. Yes, custodial staff. Everyone has put a part to really make this a really awesome environment. And one thing I really want to put together this year, and I've really been working in a lot of communities, is service programs. I really want to have the community be more involved with our children in the school district. So recently I was invited to go to the Inkster Police Athletic League. They're starting something brand new for mentoring, and they were working with Westland, Inkster, Dearborn Heights, different police departments. And I just chartered the Westland Kiwanis Club. We just chartered 2016, and the last time they had a club was in 1985. So they help children from kindergarten all the way through college, and they do scholarships, a lot of service programs. So I've really been working with the different community leaders. I really want to build that up. And we're actually having a meeting, if anybody in the community is interested, at Mr. Mike's Grill at 7 o'clock this Thursday on the 26th. So that's my goal, to really bring the community together. I really want to emphasize service to children, because once you give back, there's something special about that, giving back to the community, and it makes them better citizens. We already have programs like Leader in Me, the Bright Futures, the Champions of Glen. We have the Scholars of Glen, Champions of Wayne. So we're doing our part at the base, but we have to continue that to have future leaders. And like I said, everyone, the board, you guys are like one big family. I actually love coming here every meeting. You guys are awesome. And the board here, they really care about our children in the community. And
Thank you. Mrs. Madell.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations to all of us making it back safely after the holiday break here. And congratulations on your new positions, and thank you very much for your support as I move forward as Vice President. I'd like to thank our superintendent for our certificate. Thank you very much for recognizing us. I know Risa has also recognized us this month for board appreciation. And thank you for the chocolate. I'm trying to keep it away from Mr. Buckaloo. He should know better by now not to mess with a fat lady in chocolate. You could lose an arm. Last week, I got a chance to go to the RISA meeting. And at the RISA meeting, they passed by majority to allocate monies to each of the school districts in Wayne County, money for special ed busing again. I am so excited. I had issues looking at their budget to know that they had a lot of money sitting there in their special ed fund, and I know that a previous year that they had allocated us money for transportation for special ed, and they've done it again. So this will help our general fund take the stress off of that in reimbursing some of our but transportational costs for our special ed students. One of the things I did not mention earlier with Head Start is that the feds are coming through and changing some of their rulings now, so that by the year 2018, all Head Start classrooms will be full-time, regardless of where they are being offered. They've also relaxed on some of their qualifications that the parents need to qualify for in order to get their kid in a full-time program. They had many restrictions on there, and it was very difficult for some of our parents to qualify. One of them was that you needed to be in an educational setting yourself as a parent. So they've relaxed on some of those so that more parents will qualify for a full day. Recently, I went to coffee hour with Mr. Buckaloo, and I always enjoy going to coffee hours with our legislators because it gives them a chance to see us and remember that we are always there. We need their support, especially our newest person that we have added to the State House, and that is Jewel Jones, who is also a graduate from John Glenn. We got a chance to spotlight our career tech. They are having an open house on the 24th. Everybody is welcome. Come in, come see what they have to offer. It's usually student-led, so the students are explaining exactly what is in their program. It begins at 6 o'clock, so it gave me a chance to put that information out to the people who came to coffee hour. We also had a discussion about community groups, and one of the people sitting at coffee hour wanted to know if there was some way to coordinate all this information so that we could get it out to people and make it a lot easier instead of having all of these silos. And it gave me a chance to spotlight our Family Resource Center, because that's exactly what they do once a month, meeting with all kinds of community organizations so that they can speak up and let people know in other community organizations what they are offering. And then we also reminded them again that our flyers for our school district and also their flyers can be found on micommonwealth.com, so that you can take a look and see what is being offered, what kind of programs, special events, information that is available on insurances. It's the best place to find it because as an event occurs, it drops off, so you're not looking at something and going, oh, this is really great, to find out it occurred 3 months ago. One of the things that I know I posted on Facebook, I am so proud of our Wayne, Westland, Inkster community. The Miracle on Helen Street was over the top. The last time I was in this room, before the holidays, it was loaded with all kinds of Christmas presents and wrapping paper. Every child at Hicks Elementary School ended up with 5 Christmas presents. The community really came out in droves to help support this. I don't know if the kids, when they are adults, will remember this happening. I can't imagine why they wouldn't, but you never know with memories how they get. In my age, you forget a lot of things. But those kids were so excited, and the pictures that I saw posted on social media, every kid had a smile. The excitement in the room, the food was delicious according to the kids, and getting kids to say that food is delicious is sometimes difficult. But I am just so grateful that our community came together to help support our students. Thank you.
Thank you. So as always, by the time it gets to me, everything has already been said. But I do have some good news to share with everyone, and I also want to say thank you for allowing me to serve as your president for last year, and thank you. It's been an honor, and I really appreciate you trusting me to lead you again this year. And as always, I promise to do my best and to make sure that everything that is done for the families in the community of Wayne Westland. And I also want to give some shout outs and some kudos to one of our fellow board members, Mrs. Medell. We do a lot with the school board, but Mrs. Medell does a lot, just period, all the time. So she's going to get a recognition, so I'm going to read this to you. Carol Medell has received notice that she will receive the Presidential Award for Excellence in Preparedness, Health, and Safety Services from the American Red Cross. This is the highest award given to a volunteer and will be awarded to her by the President and CEO, Gail McGovern, at the National Awards and Recognition Dinner on March 28th, being held at the American Red Cross National Headquarters in Washington, D.C. She is being awarded this honor for almost 25 years of service as an instructor of CPR, AED, and first aid. Besides being an instructor, she also mentors new instructors and volunteers as a Mencken technician. Carol can be found painting the walls in the Washtenaw Center, organizing supplies, and working the reception desk. That's a great honor too, but something else that Carol doesn't always share that I think is something that a lot of people should also know that she does is that she goes and she spends her time some evenings at the Veterans Hospital. And one of the things that she does there is dying veterans. She's a hand for them to hold when they don't have families. And she's there in their final days. And so I think that that's something that she should really be proud of, and that as a board we recognize you, because that is an honor. And you definitely gonna have a whole bunch of crowns, jewels in your crown. So I just want to give you applause. So with that being said, welcome, Mr. Cox. I know that you will be an asset to the team, to the family. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your night to come and spend time with us and listening to us go through our business. And as always, we appreciate your presence, and we hope to see you again next month at this time, unless Carol wants to say something. Okay. At this time, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Have a good night. Be safe.